Sean recently sat down with pollster Frank Luntz, and here's what he had to say.
These candidates are very different than 2012. What they're saying absolutely
good slate, right?
It's a great slate, and their language is working.
Let's start with Marco Rubio. Let's roll the tape.
We are still blessed with brave young Americans willing to sacrifice their safety for the sake of ours. But what remains to be seen is whether we are willing to do what those before us did. Whatever it takes to keep America exceptional.
Great numbers, both Republican and Democrat.
And that's what makes Rubio different. Most of the Republicans are really good among the party faithful. Rubio has the capability of bringing Democrats into the fold, and that's why he's a credible candidate for 2016.
Amazing analysis. That's a good line. Let's go to Scott Walker, the governor of Wisconsin.
There have been men and women throughout our history who have stood up and made decisions that think more about the future of their children and their grandchildren than they did about their own political futures. Ladies and gentlemen, here tonight, this is one of those moments in American history.
Similar, almost better by the Democrats.
And what's interesting about what Walker said is that, and I want to use the language, stood up and made decisions that make you think about their children and grandchildren. Walker is the intergenerational candidate, the one that's spending as much time talking about the next generation as he is this generation, and Republicans love it.
All right, let's go to Ted Cruz, and let's see the dials here.
The most fundamental problem, the frustration, is that the men and women in Washington aren't listening. You talk to the man and woman on the street, that's the message you hear over and over again. Why don't they listen to me? Why don't they hear what we have to say?
95 and 75? Huge.
That is the single best clip of any Republican presidential contender that we have tested so far in this 2016 campaign, because even Republicans, even with a majority, they think that no one in Congress is listening to them.
All right, let's go to former Florida Governor Jeb Bush and watch his clip.
If our people are not rising, our nation will not rise. There are those who believe that the solution is as simple as taking more from the successful and doling out the proceeds to the less successful. It doesn't work that way, and it never has.
Not as good, but still strong numbers based on historical precedents that we've covered over the years.
But somebody needs to tell him you cannot read your speech in 2015, that they expect you to look straight at the American people, deliver it without hesitation and with passion. His words are good.
He didn't have any script when I interviewed him at CPAC on stage. What did you think of his performance there?
Very strong. But you asked him questions that got him passionate. And we've got one more candidate.
I'm going to get to that. You should have dialed my speech. I didn't use any script. I walked out on stage.
Here's the deal. Pay me, I'll dial you.
All right, let's go to Mike Huckabee, Governor Huckabee.
You can't stay for the rest of your life and make Congress a career. You will go, you will serve, and then you will get to come back home and live under the laws that you passed for the rest of us. Welcome to America.
Very good numbers.
Very positive. When Mike Huckabee leaves the social agenda and gets into the politics, he does just as well. Don't forget, he won Iowa 8 years ago. True. He's a credible candidate, and that's good language.
All right. How do we interpret this? Because they all did well. How do we interpret that?
I'm waiting for the first debate.
Okay.
And I'm watching, because one of the people we did not show here is Chris Christie. He's not been doing well. His numbers have been going down.
Dramatically.
Because he's too direct. He's too in your face. That's not what Republicans want.
You have to have warmth.
They have to like you.
And you have to have solutions.
Here's my language to you. They have to like you to love you. And these candidates are likable, which allows people to love them.
And they're also talking about solutions to our nation's problems. Very positive, not a lot about Obama.
And not just now. They're talking intergenerationally, 20 years down the road.